You walk into the room, see your cat looking adorable, and naturally you swoop in for a head scratch. But instead of leaning into your hand, the cat immediately flattens their ears and ducks away to avoid the sudden contact. As primates, our default way to express love involves direct eye contact and sudden enclosing embraces. To a cat's nervous system, those exact behaviors mimic the actions of a predator closing in for a kill. This pyramid outlines the biological hierarchy of trust. To move from perceived threat to family bonding, we must bypass their built-in defenses. Scaling this requires specific signals that allow a cat to lower its guard. This physical retreat is a hardwired survival protocol. It's a response to a perceived threat, resolved only by changing the way we interact. In the feline world, physical distance is the default state of safety. If you want to bridge that gap, you have to prove you aren't a threat before you ever make a move.
We tend to stare at our cats out of affection, but in cat language, an unblinking stare is a direct challenge. Letting your eyelids drop in a slow, deliberate blink acts as an active de-escalation signal, telling them you're safe to be around. That de-escalation also applies to how you sound. A 2022 study from the University of Paris tested how cats filter through the noise of human speech. These two waveforms show exactly what the researchers found. The bottom wave is a normal, flat adult voice, which barely registers to a cat. But this top wave, that high-pitched, varied tone we use for babies, instantly triggers feline recognition. Once you establish safety through sight and sound, cats in the wild show trust simply by sharing space. They don't cuddle to prove their bond, they sit quietly nearby. By combining soft eyes, the right vocal frequency, and quiet proximity, you prove to the cat's nervous system that you are a safe cohabitant, clearing the way for the next step. Now we have to satisfy their internal drives. Waving a toy back and forth in the exact same spot doesn't stimulate a cat's brain. It just bores them, because it skips how they naturally process a hunt. A true predatory sequence requires 3 specific actions: stalking, chasing, and pouncing. You activate this by dragging the toy erratically away from them, letting it hide and freeze before darting behind a corner. After a hunt, a cat needs 12 to 16 hours of deep sleep. Their body requires this downtime to process stress and regulate their entire nervous system, making it their most vulnerable state. If you scoop them up while they're sleeping, their heart rate immediately spikes. Even if they settle down in your arms, their brain permanently logs that resting spot as unsafe, and they will start sleeping in harder-to-reach places to protect themselves. Consistently facilitating their hunt and guarding their sleep establishes a high level of environmental reliability. Meeting these core biological requirements changes the cat's base-lane association with your presence. Physical intimacy is the final tier, and it operates entirely through scent. Cats process new interactions with their nose first, using smell to verify identity. Bypassing that and going straight for a petting session is jarring. You have to offer a scent handshake first, extending a single finger a few inches away from their nose and waiting for them to sniff and rub against it. Once they initiate that contact, you can engage in allo-grooming. This anatomical map shows the specific zone cats use for allo-grooming. It's located right between the ears and down the base of the skull, a complete blind spot they can never reach, meaning they only let trusted partners groom it. Gently stroking this exact area triggers the release of oxytocin in the brain. By mimicking the precise motion of another cat's tongue on that lying spot, you bypass standard physical comfort and artificially trigger the chemical signature of a family unit. Loving a cat requires a shift in practice. You have to put your own primate instincts aside and communicate entirely in their biological language. It's a structured sequence. You establish safety from a distance, honor their primal needs for hunting and rest, and earn chemical intimacy by letting them initiate contact. Try a simple passive interaction test tomorrow. Sit down near your cat, read a book or check your phone, and place zero pressure on them to interact. In a cross-species dynamic, the strength of the bond is visible when an animal feels secure enough to close the distance on their own terms.